Welcome to the Spinwhiz Comics Show.
Whoa.
From Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us for exclusive interviews with the publishers bringing you the newest titles in indie comics, webcomics, movies, and more.
No way.
And now, here's your host, Jeff Palumbo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. My name is always Jeff Palumbo. Thank you for being here. I have an amazing show for you tonight, and that's because one of the original people that heard about Spinwhiz Comics before it was even a thing was the gentleman we're having on tonight, and he is actually our first webcomic creator that we've had on the show. We have multiple webcomics on the site, but he was actually the first to ever jump on Spinwhiz Comics. He has since updated, and he has another title. He has something new coming out. We have lots to talk about. His newest title, Beware the Toddler, at least that I know of, is hilarious, especially if you're a parent. You are going to die laughing, and nobody can hear any of this. Okay, good. You can't hear it. Thank God. Ellen, what's up, buddy? Without further ado, I'm going to bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, George Gant coming in the house. Wait a minute. George, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Gotcha. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule, which I can only imagine is running around with toddlers, or at least one toddler, and then one son, going back and forth and screaming and doing whatever kids do. So welcome. Thank you for being here, man. It's a great pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's get right down to it. A lot of people in the industry, the comic industry that we're in, have a lot going on. You originally, I found you because of Reset Button, and I think you had some content before that, and now your newest one is Beware the Toddler. So before we get into all the crazy, they're all hilarious, how did you, is that your full-time gig, is drawing and doing these, or do you have a full-time job? Are you, how did you get into drawing? All sorts of cool stuff that we want to know about you before we get into the hotness.
Well, I've done a lot of work at home things. Because before all of this, I worked in food service. I worked in a lot of restaurants. I was an insurance agent.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, man. It was actually a lot of fun, believe it or not. But a few years ago, and I've been drawing for forever. I've been drawing webcomics for about 13 years.
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Good for you, man.
Yeah, man. I've been around.
I guess so.
But about 8 years ago, when we found out that my wife and I found out we were going to have a baby, I decided that maybe this was a chance, I could just stay home with the baby and try to build up what I'm doing. Because at the same time, I was hired to illustrate a children's book. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can do this. I'll just be at home with the baby, and I'll work on my children's book, and then I still got my comics as well. And so I did that for a while. Didn't really make any money. I was just broke, and so I started looking for little odd jobs online, at home, here and there, and I did okay there. This year's been a bit slow. But technically I'm still doing that kind of stuff and looking for those kind of opportunities, in addition to the comics that I've been drawing, and I've illustrated I think another children's book since then as well.
And now, and you have a lot of content that's actually out there floating around too. So what was your first piece of content that you actually published maybe not I would say self-published, that you have on the web floating around that maybe we don't have at Spinwhiz? Because at Spinwhiz we have Reset Button, which is a fantastic gamer-esque storyline. So if you're a gamer at all out there, you love video games, you're going to love Reset Button, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then Beware the Toddler is, obviously, if you're a parent, it is the trials and tribulations of having a toddler at home. And what you do currently it's as a father, is from at least the way I read it. And then you have something else you're working on, but those are 3 titles that are coming, or 1 title's coming, 2 are here. What did you do that's out there and about that maybe we can show people if they want to see the beginnings of George?
Okay. Well, there's one I'm not going to show off, but
Okay,
I'll talk
don't
about
show
it.
that. Yeah, all right.
And it's actually related to the reset button, because the reset button you've seen is actually the second version of it.
Oh,
There was one. My very first webcomic was the first version of reset button, and it's not very good. It's not very well drawn, and it was me as a kid, well, a person in my early 20s, trying to emulate the things that I was watching on TV at the time. You know, like the Family Guys and the Aqua Teen Hunger Forces, things like that,
mm-hmm.
like crude humor and all of that. And I did a few of those for a couple years. And then a couple years since that, I actually created another comic strip. It was called On the Grind.
Mm-hmm. I know that one.
That was probably still like the biggest comic strip I've ever done. I've got like 400 strips done.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 2 published books, like fully published, not even self-published. And I'm planning / working on a 3rd On the Grind book.
Oh boy.
And this one will be pretty much every strip that I've done, beginning to end, from 2008 until early this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was actually based on my own experiences yet again. But this time, this was back when I was working in coffee shops, back when I was a barista. So there's a lot of barista humor. There's a lot of customer service and retail humor.
Hence On the Grind.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So you really have done a lot of jobs.
I have.
Which
And,
is most of us, yeah. Like, yeah, been there, done that, still doing it.
Yeah, and I actually enjoyed the coffee shop experience. I worked in 3 different shops. I was a barista. I was a shift supervisor. I was an assistant manager at one point. I ran a catering service department in a restaurant before. Yeah, so the underground comic is just based on that kind of things, that kind of stuff. The workplace comic for me.
And then how did you learn how to draw? Because your style is very unique. Like, people can actually pick you out from other webcomics of that certain style. How did you emulate things? Did you go to school? Have you been drawing forever?
I've been drawing. Like, I can remember the first time I picked up a pencil with the intention of drawing at about the age of 9. So I've been trying to draw throughout my life. In high school, I was their school cartoonist. I won a few awards. I have 4 awards based on editorial cartoons that I did in high school as a teenager.
Oh my gosh! And I didn't know we had an award-winning webcomic creator on. I mean, I would have put that in the tagline.
Well, sometimes I write that in my bio, and then I think to myself, does it really count if I was like 15 or 16 and it was like a citywide thing at the time?
I mean, citywide. It's not like you're in your high school or something. I mean, it's citywide. You got a lot of people entering.
Yeah, I have to find those awards. I would love to show them off, but I did that. And after high school, when I went to college, I actually went to school for graphic design. And while I was in school, I actually just put like the cartooning away, and I just stopped completely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a weird time in college. So I went to school for both graphic design, and then I switched over to IT because I'm a big computer guy. I love computers. I'm staring at 3 different screens right now as we're talking.
Mm-hmm. Multitasking. I like it. I dig.
But I'm a big computer guy, hardware and software. So I went to school for IT, and then eventually I couldn't really afford to finish. So I went to work at Starbucks, and somewhere in Starbucks, I decided to pick up comics again, and that's where the first reset button came along. Then a couple years later, was On the Grind, and then a few years after that, well, earlier this year a few years ago, was the second iteration of the reset button.
Mm-hmm.
because I'm also a massive gamer.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get into that in a minute too.
And then Beware the Toddler earlier this year.
So you hit on a couple different things there. So with your graphic design background, did that teach you how to maybe use a program or something that allowed you to do more comic-based stuff, or do you still draw paper and scan it? You must do digital now.
Oh no, I'm all digital. For that, I learned Photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like Photoshop that much.
I've heard that from a lot of people, even people that
Uh,
use it.
but for me, I'm very much like a trial and error person. I'm very much like kinesthetic. So when I first started with the first reset button comic, that was like my way of drawing comics.
Mm-hmm.
And as growing up, I was a big fan of Calvin and Hobbes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I remember moving into a house one day, and there were some things left behind from the previous tenant. Tons of Calvin and Hobbes books and tons of Bloom County books. And I was 9. So like that was like right up my alley, and I would just read them all day long. And I knew that I wanted to draw comics. And in the beginning, I wanted to be like Calvin and Hobbes. But when I first started the reset button, I wanted to be like Family Guy, and I wanted to be like the Boondocks, and things of that nature. I wasn't that good of an artist, so it didn't really come out that way.
But now you're a great artist. How did you change from what you say is not a good artist to somebody who has an explicit style and it's fantastic?
Consistency. It's like I do it all the time. I've learned to see what works and what doesn't. Also, I learned to see what works for me and what doesn't. And as I grew older, like my styles have changed. Of course, I've gone from like the Family Guy humor to like the Cartoon Network style, humor, things like that. And so that's kind of influenced me. That combined with those old comic strips, combined with video games, because the second reset button is what really got me to hone my style in. Because I'm a big gamer, and I was a big fan of like Sonic the Hedgehog and things like that, and just the art of it as well.
So old school Sega Genesis.
Yeah, old school Sega Genesis, like that, the '90s era, the 16-bit era. I think that's like the third or fourth generation of video game consoles. That the art itself has kind of helped me hone my skills in addition to like cartoons.
Yeah, but it's such a good style, and I don't say that because I have you on the show right now. I started talking to you because the style was just so drastically different and so clean, and I'm also a gamer, so the humor in it and the storyline was just awesome in Reset Button. And
oh man,
just so good. I mean, I really think that, and I hope that people go, and we have the links in chat for those of you that are watching on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast. In YouTube, the links are below. Just click right down there. We already got the links to everything's on Spinwhiz Comics. It's up to date. And then if you're on podcast, just go to the transcription on Buzzsprout or anything, and it'll be right there. So you have to check it out. If you were ever a gamer, or even if you just have seen people who play video games, because I think that's I think my wife could read it and be like, this is nerdy, but she would see me doing it, which is the funny part. It comes out great. The writing is really well done. The hooks and just the 4 panels at certain times on how to quickly enter and exit a situation, or to kind of close it, but still have it as part of a full arc, I think is really, really difficult to do. And I can't do that. And I give credit to people who write stuff like you do, and that you will have a storyline, but at certain times you could do one-offs as well, where it'll be a 1/4 square panel. How do you do it so well? I mean, how do you come up with an idea and be able to not only complete it with text, but also in the art style within 4 panels? Like, you complete it's like a full story in 4 panels, and you crank them out like crazy.
Well, I think it's because I've been doing them so long. Because I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you're doing a good job at not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's been like that in 2006, and it's like that today. Like it's like with the reset button, especially like the second version and Beware the Toddler. While I do try to plan out comics in advance, 9 out of 10 times I would change so much to the point where it would be like I'm writing it on the fly. So there's a lot of stuff in the reset button that I just made up as I was going along.
I love it.
And I think it's just because I've been doing it so long, because I've got like 600 comic strips under my belt before the second reset button comic started.
Yeah.
It's come easy to me, even though and I don't think I ever will, think that I know what I'm doing.
Well, I would have to disagree with. I mean, you're the expert, obviously, but I would have to disagree from a reader perspective because it is fantastic. So let's get off reset button and let's jump into the newest title that I know about, which is Beware the Toddler. We just recently loaded it to Spinwhiz Comics. It's on issue or episode 28 or scene 28, whichever one you want to call it. That's what we have. I mean, obviously you are a newer father. Your baby daughter came into this world and now she's a toddler. When did it trigger where you're like, damn, I need to start like doing this as its own comic because it is hilarious?
Yeah, it was just like a few months ago, and she did something, and I can't remember what she did specifically, but I just thought to myself, I should draw this out and see how it comes out. And that combined with the fact that like before I created Beware Toddler, I was thinking that I wanted to do a third comic anyway, and I wanted to do something about a child, like a parent-child relationship thing. And I drew up some ideas, but the original idea was the story about parent to a child that has superpowers.
Ooh.
Now that already exists, which I've learned
Mm-hmm.
in Raising Dion, which just became a Netflix series. But mine was just gonna be a 4-panel comic, and I never went along with that. That kid character as a superhero eventually became a reset button character that I don't think I debuted yet. And he also became a robot. That's a whole other thing. But
a whole nother part of the story.
yeah, it completely changed. But I had this idea in my head. I want to do a parent child comic, and a few months ago, I my daughter did something crazy, and I can't remember what it is. And I thought, okay, let me just try to draw this out, and let's see what happens. So I drew a single comic, came up with the name on the fly, like Beware Toddler. I Googled it first to make sure no one else had the name,
Good idea.
and no one did. So I ran with it. I put the comic up online, and people are loving it left and right. Just one little comic that I just decided to do, and it was more popular than any of my resets, any of my on the grinds in a very long time. So I just ran with it. Came up with the second comic. It became even more popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even think there was a punchline. It was like that was literally just something that a toddler does. She has something in her mouth and she runs.
Mm.
And I didn't even need to write a punchline, and it was funny, and everybody liked it.
Oh, it's so good.
And so so the first thing I did was I'm going to create some social media pages. I created the Facebook page in late June, and it's mid to late October now, and we're coming up on 5,000 likes on Facebook.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's scary how fast like this thing has grown,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm having fun. And that's the thing. I'm having fun with the comic strip, which I can't say the same about other comic strips I've worked on in the past. But I'm enjoying it, and I think that's what helps, and I think maybe the readers can see that,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's why they enjoy the comic as much as I do.
Well, and I think part of it also is you have an endless supply of content.
Oh yeah.
Because your daughter is probably and I saw your son was in one of them too.
Oh, yeah, he's in a few.
Yep.
As well.
So you obviously have twice the potential of something crazy going on every day where you're like, oh, I got to write this down because I have to draw it later. And I can only imagine, are you taking your daughter out for Halloween? Is this her first Halloween?
This is her second. Like she was too young to do anything last year, but we were out.
Mm-hmm.
Like our neighborhood does this Halloween thing every year. We're actually going to go tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun.
So
And
I can imagine a strip coming of that.
oh yeah, I'm explicitly saving like Wednesday's strip for whatever happens tomorrow.
I knew that you would. I'm like, this is just going to be great. And I told my wife about it. And she hasn't read it yet. But I think the good thing is you just have to be a parent. It helps if you're a gamer because, like, when you had the Switch, when you were playing the Switch, like, I'm like, I could totally do, like, I'm on my phone or something like that, indisposed, if you will. And something's going to happen when you're in there. It's just, it's an automatic. There is no quiet time in our lives.
It's so true.
And my son is older now. He's 7, but you would think that it gets better, and it doesn't. It's just, well, how old's your son?
7.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
So I know, and it's like an extra layer of things because now you have to deal with school-related things.
Yeah.
And homework and math is different now, and it's all insane.
Yes.
And with me and with what's going on with us now because we live in Chicago, and for the last week our teachers have been on strike.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So my son's been out of school for the entire week, and it's an
Testing?
experience. It is.
Yeah, I bet it is. So, I don't know where you're coming from on that, but for having a 7-year-old, I know exactly what you're talking about. They teach Common Core in math.
They do, and
I can't
I'm
stand
not a fan.
Common Core. What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's like extra steps. It's like
That's what I'm saying.
Like Common Core is like if there's a store directly across the street, but you decide to walk around a block 4 times first,
Mm-hmm.
and then hop in a cab just to go across the street.
Yep. It's so weird.
It's unnecessary, man.
I heard in North Carolina they're actually trying to get rid of it.
Well, good for them. I don't understand why. Like, why the extra steps?
I don't get it either. We're just fine. I mean,
Exactly.
Look at us. We're 2 guys that are in the comics industry not making any money. We're doing amazing.
Yes. I can agree to that. Amen.
So, with going back to Beware the Toddler, I really want people to go check it out. I already have the links in the chat, like I said. If you are a parent at all, doesn't matter if you're male or female, or if you're a gamer or not, the stuff that happens you can relate to. And I think that's why it's so good, is that it is so relatable regardless of who you are. If you have had a child at all, you know what's up. And then the 7-year-old, obviously we get into the math and stuff like that, and the Common Core like we just talked about. But we also get into like my son's into video games now.
Likewise.
And he'll play Roblox or something like that on the iPad.
Oh my goodness.
Which he does not put. I mean, he puts down when we tell him to. He has, we have to limit it, otherwise he'll be on there all day.
No, I understand.
And does your son, is he a Roblox fan as well, or?
He was. I actually made him stop playing Roblox.
Wow.
Because it's a lot of user created content,
mm-hmm.
and I just came across like a lot of stuff that I thought was just a little weird to be in a kids game.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing overtly bad, but I wouldn't want to like be standing behind him watching him play.
Mm-hmm.
So we put Roblox away, but now it's Minecraft.
Oh yeah, my son loves that too.
Yeah, he's addicted to Minecraft, which I'm more okay with because I play Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm cool with it, but it's insane how much time he can put into it if we didn't limit him.
Oh yeah, and I have to, because he just goes off the deep end if he doesn't. And my son will play Minecraft also, and I'm with you on Roblox. There are certain rooms he can't go in.
Right.
Where I'm like, no, if I see you in that room, I'm taking it. We're getting rid of it for a while. And he knows. He's like, we say it's not appropriate. So he'll go, Daddy, is that appropriate? And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. So he just goes to the next one. He doesn't care. But Minecraft, he'll play, and I'll leave him alone for a little bit, and he'll come and be like, Daddy, check this out. And he'll build something. And I'm like, how did you do this? And like, it's a house with a bed, with paintings, with like light, and I'm like, I never taught you how to design stuff. Yet it's amazing what kids pick up and transfer from a house here into something and easily build it inside of a game. And I think that is fantastic. The ability to have that imagination.
Yeah, mine does that too. These days he builds, like, he's also a big Transformers fan. So he recreates the Transformers within Minecraft.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, I've seen Optimus Prime, I've seen Bumblebee, I've seen Devastator, and it's insane.
Is your kid a genius?
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, he's smart, but
Depends on what day.
I think it's just like because he likes it so much, he's willing to put in the time to create these things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you had mentioned that you're a gamer.
Yep.
Do you gravitate towards one console or PC individually, or what?
Okay, so I'm a bit embarrassed to say this, but this generation, I have every console,
That's not
including a
embarrassing.
PC.
That's not embarrassing. That's epic.
Yeah.
Remember who you're talking to here, George.
I know.
I mean,
No,
I work for Lenovo. I do esports for Lenovo. So, dude, you're in the wheelhouse. Trust me. This is a safe zone right here.
Oh man, I can talk video games all day long, but yeah, no, I have my Xbox One X, I've got my PS4 Pro, I've got my Switch, and I've got my PC here. PC's not that powerful. I got a 1060 in here, but it does what it needs to do.
Mm-hmm. What games are you running right now?
Right now I am going to Modern Warfare.
I just picked it up. Mm-hmm. We can cross-platform play.
Man, I love it so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a campaign right now, so like once I'm done with the campaign, I'm going to hop back into multiplayer. But I'm doing that. I'm doing Borderlands 3.
Oh, yep, I have that too.
And I like that a lot. I'm playing the Outer Worlds through Xbox Game Pass,
Okay.
but I'm actually going to buy it because I want to support those devs. See, that's just Xbox alone. What am I playing on PlayStation? I have no idea.
Well, there's nothing really. I don't think there's anything out really right now. I mean, PlayStation 5's coming out.
Right.
So
I think just waiting on Death Stranding for PlayStation. I think there's Pokemon in the Switch. PC, I don't really do much on the PC as far as gaming. Just like whatever's on sale or whatever's free.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Epic Store is always free and Steam always has sales. I think I played like Rage 2 or something like that. Oh, and Yakuza 0. I'm working with that as well.
So you are a busy guy.
Yeah, man, I'll play anything.
Yeah, I will too. And I don't know how I can add you on if you're an Xbox player and I'm a PC player with Modern Warfare. I'm not sure how I add you, but make sure you ping me your name later and I'm going to try to find you.
Yeah, I think you have to do it through the Call of Duty account itself, but
Okay.
I'm not completely sure.
I'll find you. Ping me your name later. I'll find you. Because I'm always up for a little multiplayer, and if I'm streaming that night, just jump on Discord with me, and we'll just stream together.
Okay.
And have a good time. So that's fantastic. I think a lot of comic book people are gamers also to an extent, whether it happens to be because of the imagination or because of the genre of game they directly overlap with comic books. Did you start as a gamer back in the day and then you got into comics, or were you kind of like, oh, I really love comics, and you found video games? Or were they just kind of like smashed together? It didn't matter.
Well, I was always a gamer. Like I can remember the first time I played Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the date, like the actual date.
Oh my gosh, really?
I mean, it was a holiday, so then it's kind of cheating. But but I still remember. But no, I've been a gamer all my life. Sega Genesis, NES, Atari 2600.
Oh yeah.
I've even played systems that predate those.
The ColecoVision, stuff like that.
Yep, Odyssey 2, like all of those. And the comics thing is something that I picked up later on. I like the Calvin and Hobbes comics and things like that, but I've never been like a massive comics person. I've always been like a gamer first.
Gamer first, comic nerd second.
Exactly.
And now, because of your shirt, I'm going to say anime is probably in the mix as well, because you got a little Attack on Titan.
Okay, here's a surprise, and a lot of people are going to be upset with me, but I'm not a big anime fan.
Really?
Yeah, I like the shirt. I have tried to watch Attack on Titan, but I got the shirt through Loot Crate.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fine too.
But I've always gravitated towards like American humor cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
like the Family Guys, The Simpsons. I'm a massive Simpsons fan. Um, Bob's Burgers, like all those are like my
American
shows.
Dad, all those.
Oh yeah, American Dad. Yeah, all of those pretty much.
That's awesome. So let's talk about Simpsons real quick.
Mhm.
Only because I have been away from The Simpsons for a while, and now I have it on Hulu. And I'm wondering if I should start with a certain season and just be like, all right, do they have canon in Simpsons, or is it just kind of like one big run-on joke where you can jump in any time and still enjoy it? Because, they're like, what, 25 years in?
They are 31, I believe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think this is season 31. But no, there's really no canon. They've done like 50 episodes set in the future, and every single time the future is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So, nah, there's no canon. I would say, the usual first 10 seasons.
Those I covered because I was in 5th grade when it came out. So I have, I'm 41 now.
Oh,
5th
well,
grade, 4th
I'm
grade.
36.
Yeah, so it had to have been like 4th, 5th grade, I think, when it came out originally.
Right.
And so I had the first 10 years easily
Okay.
in the bag. But after that, I was kind of, stuff happens, and I would always catch the Treehouse of Horrors.
Right.
So, and I think that one just came out last week.
It was really good.
Ooh, don't say anything. I'm actually going to watch it after the stream.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the early stuff,
Mhm.
and though a lot of people may not agree, that the last few seasons have been pretty decent.
I can't wait to watch them.
I know, like, people complain about The Simpsons. Yeah, it's not good anymore, but bad Simpsons is better than a lot of other shows.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things.
Well, and I wonder if I will think it's bad mainly because I haven't seen. I was out there, I would catch it every now and then. I'd catch it. I just wasn't consistent. I'm wondering if to me it's going to be amazing because I haven't seen the last 15 years in sync.
Right.
So I'm wondering if all these jokes are just going to be like whether they repeat or not. I don't know.
Well, it would depend. I guess it would depend on what else you watch, like as far as other series of that nature.
And I really don't. The Simpsons was always. I liked Family Guy. I liked Futurama.
Oh yeah, I love Futurama.
And I liked Simpsons. And then I went more towards Family Guy. Back in the day, I used to watch Beavis and Butthead, which obviously is not in the same caliber, but it's still funny.
Right.
And I guess I'm not so much on the shock factor. A lot of the comics or a lot of the cartoons I see now that are on, except for Archer. Like I loved Archer.
Oh yeah, Archer's great.
Yep, and that's coming back next year. Next year, I think. Right,
Is it
late 2020? I think.
I missed out on the last season, just because of the fact that I had no idea when it came on.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to go back and find those episodes.
They kind of seem to put it under the carpet. I didn't see a lot of hype about it, and then all of a sudden on Hulu, I see the whole season's there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck's going on? So, it's awesome.
Oh, I have to check that tonight because I think I last saw like season 8 or season 9. But Archer, like I love Archer. Like Archer is a show that I could watch over and over again, like Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've watched Rick and Morty through its run so far at least 4 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, this is kind of stuff that I will watch while I'm drawing. If I'm not listening to music or watching like YouTube videos of video games, it's like those shows. And I watched Rick and Morty so much, especially when I was doing like this last reset button run.
Oh, see, and I'm embarrassed to say, but I'm going to say it anyway because people are going to hear this. I've never watched a Rick and Morty.
Really?
I know it's surprising because that's like right in my wheelhouse.
Oh man,
and I haven't seen it, and I think I need to jump in and just jump off and be like, let's do this.
Hey, it's on Hulu right now.
And I can binge. Well, there's how many seasons of Rick and Morty?
Just 3, and I think they're like 13 episodes a pop. So you
that's
can get
easy.
through it like in like 4 or 5 days.
I love it. I love it. So are you a movie nut too?
Not as much, like not so much. My wife's a big movie person,
Really? So we have to
so
have her on next to talk movies?
yeah, she can talk movies. I have my fair share of movie knowledge, but she's like the big movie person.
Hmm. Well, that just comes with being a gamer and being relatively nerdy. Is you always pull in references from these movies that are must see, right?
Right.
But all the other ones, like my wife is not a movie person, but she's a music person, and she can tell you more about music than anybody could potentially ever actually keep in their brain.
Oh wow.
And she is amazing at it. Like she's gone to see more shows. She used to date a jock back in Tampa, so she used to be like behind, VIP and behind stage meeting all these people.
Huh?
And she grew up loving music. And her my stepson plays guitar and he loves music. And my son will sit there and listen to music and play with his Legos. And I'm like the odd man out in this house. When it
No
comes
worries,
to, when
I
it comes to,
understand.
when it comes to music, everything else I'm good to go. But when it comes to music, I'm not there.
No worries, I understand.
Mm-hmm. So are you ever going to do, well, let me take this back. Would you ever work on a comic that is not yours anymore? Like getting back into comics, now that we have kind of covered the span of what you could do and knowing that you're kind of working on your own stuff, would you do something for somebody else knowing what you do now?
Well, here's the thing, I have,
Wh-
and I
Lately?
technically still last yeah.
Are you
Yes,
allowed to say it or no?
Oh yeah, I can talk about it.
Okay.
I for the last few years, I've been a letterer, and I've colored a few issues of the Hero Cast of Stellar City books,
Oh, awesome.
published by Action Lab.
Yep.
I colored a book titled "Lifted" of Gods and Thieves. I believe that was published by Crown Taker Studios. I'm currently lettering a book that was recently crowdfunded called Flame Angel.
Okay. Who did that?
His name is Bobby, and his last name escapes me right now for some reason.
Okay. It's
Great
not,
person.
It's not Bobby Lex, is it?
No, I don't think it's so.
Okay.
Nah, but fantastic person. I don't know why the last name is escaping me right
That
now.
happens, man.
But so I've worked on those books. I've illustrated children's books. I've illustrated a children's book for a pretty big name that I'm under NDA and
Okay. Well,
I can't talk about, and it's been 2 years. It's just driving me crazy.
is he
Yeah.
or she just waiting to release it or what? Are they keeping you as a ghost like writer or ghost artist?
I think they're just waiting to release it. It hasn't even been released yet.
Oh my gosh.
But I've worked on those books. And if the time available, I'm always down for freelance work. It's hard to find the time with everything going on.
Oh yeah.
But
For sure.
and even with that, I try to prioritize my own comics because if I don't get this done, it'll never get done.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I actually do know. Yeah. Yeah. If anybody knows, oh, it's me. Because I keep trying to promote comics, and it gets tough when you got family stuff. I work for Lenovo full time,
Right.
and then I work on Spinwhiz at night, and I get to don't get me wrong, I love working on Spinwhiz all the time, but the interviews and talking and chatting with people that are partners, because right now I only interview partners. That's it. There's a lot of other people that are like, hey, I'll do an interview. I'm like, well, I don't want to yet because there's so many great partners first, and then everybody else I'm happy to talk to. But this is what I like. But if I don't like after this is done, and after I do some gaming, I have another hour or two of work to do.
Right.
Because you have to get the content out, you got to cut it, you got to I try to get this interview. I have one hanging before yours, and it's a thing. And it's just you have to get it done. You have to sit down and do it, otherwise it just does not get done.
Oh yeah, the non-fun stuff like the edits and all of that. Yeah, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you said that you were working on another project. Was that the big part of Reset Button? Was that what you were talking about? Or do you have something else coming out?
It's the other part of Reset Button.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because Reset Button is a webcomic. And I am actually working on Floppy, like an actual comic book issue. for the reset button, because I want to challenge myself to do more longer form storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And while I've worked on comic books, I've never made my own. I've only done web comics. So this would be the first one. The book, I technically finished it, but looking back at it, I'm actually going to go back and just basically start over.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to start over because I think I can do it more justice this time around, because I kind of have a clearer idea of what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly the writing. I'm going to try to keep as much of the art as I can, but the idea is to do it like a 22-page issue, and then see where that goes. Hopefully, if I can get 5 of these done, and I can put it together as a graphic novel.
Oh yeah. Well, let me know if you need help. You know me, from a promotionals perspective or whatever, you need to ping it past me. You and I are under a mutual NDA anyway, so outside of, us talking live on this, you can send me whatever you want, and I'm happy to help. Just ping me and be like, hey. So Bako Bako's in chat. Don't know this gentleman. He seems cool though. I would agree with you, Bako. He is cool. George is...
That's a first.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. I highly doubt that is a first, that people think you're cool. Even people online, when you post something, you get tons of people talking to you. Like, you do a great job. People seem to really like you all the time.
I don't get it.
Me, not so much. It does not happen when I post something.
Well, it hasn't been like that. I swear it wasn't like this until Beware the Toddler came along.
I don't know. You got a lot of hype around Reset Button.
I don't know.
or at least I loved it. So maybe I thought the hype was really there because I always used to look forward to it.
Well, I hope so. Especially when this book, whenever I can finish this book, that's going to be nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, you let me know if you need me, and I'm happy to help.
Of course.
And we're going to have print on demand soon, which is great. I know you go through Lulu, which is fine. We don't link out to them yet, but I guess there's always a potential for that. But we'll have our own stuff going on soon, so we could always help you to bind it and all that other fun stuff.
I'll be happy to look into that. I like Lulu. Lulu's a bit expensive, just a tad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
right now, because I'm poor.
Yeah. Well, with the print on demand stuff, it's just straight out the gate. So.
Right. It's always going to be more than if you do it in bulk. But
Yep. But we'll be working on some bulk deals for our partners as well. So if you did want to buy in bulk because you're going to a show and you want to sell a bunch and sign them and stuff like that, we'll be in touch whenever you need me, and whenever you're ready, just ping me. We'll go from there. We'll find out what we can do for you.
Okay.
So I mean, we're coming up on an hour of chatting already. I told you it would happen.
Has it been an hour?
Almost. It's almost 10
man.
o'clock. Mm-hmm. I told you it happens.
You know what? I didn't believe you at first, but you were absolutely correct, and I can't believe it's late.
I try to be engaging.
No, that's awesome. I'm happy.
I mean, and a lot of the people that I know that come into the Twitch chat are all gamers. So we can literally have another stream that is just about the latest game that's out. And if you want to ever talk about the art in it, the style, whatever, you let me know. And I mean, I really do look forward to playing Modern Warfare with you. But I have to say, I'm not awesome.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to play multiplayer after we're off this. I'm going to play for just a little bit and get my my shooting on. And you will see that it's not awesome. So I'll make you look good every game because I will not be at the top, and you probably will be.
I'm okay. Half the time when I play, I'm always doing something else. I'm never like into it.
Well, if we're streaming, then you got a captive audience.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll link out to you there too, so they can see your work. Which reminds me, if you want to see George's work, you have got to check this out. I'm going to drop the link in here. And again, if you are hanging out on Facebook, if you're hanging out on YouTube or you're checking out our podcast, the links will be below. Don't sweat it. I got you covered. I'll have the links to the Reset Button, Beware the Toddler, and the geogantart.com. So just so everybody knows, his name is George, but he goes by Geo on all the social media stuff. So don't think it's weird. It's just that's his app. Do you go by Geo? And like, do people call you that?
Sometimes.
What would you like to be called? Do you want me to call you Geo? Like, does that mean that we're like awesome friends if I do?
You can call me whatever.
Well,
I'm okay with Geo. I'm okay with George. With Geo, it's easier to type out.
well, and it's unique.
Yeah, and not many people use it.
I like it. From now on, Geo. Mm-hmm. So,
thank you.
Bako just said, I just checked George's illustrations, and dang, talented dude.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm telling you. I have been telling people about you since we brought you on for Reset Button. And if you ever want to drop On the Grind, and I think you have some deals that don't allow you to, but if you ever want me to take all of On the Grind and bring it into Spinwhiz, just let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I've been working on it, just doing everything with On the Grind myself.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to look into that because it's been a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can try to do that. It's just there are 400 comics over an 8-year period. I would actually have to find the strips themselves.
Yep.
But
they're all online, aren't they?
I don't know. Like, the website is like, that's the thing about the websites, and I should have prefaced this, is with the Reset Button and On the Grind websites, I'm working on them. I had them up, and somewhere over the summer I messed up and I just deleted everything. So I'm in the process of putting everything back together. But if you check out the Facebook pages, everything should be there.
Okay. Well, if you find a way to pull them all together and zip them or FTP them to me, I'll take care of all of it. We'll load it up.
Okay.
Get even more hype on you.
Okay.
Bako says, I always appreciate Jeff doing interviews with dudes that have so much talent but are not well known. God bless you, Bako. You're such a nice person.
I appreciate it.
Wildcard, feel better, buddy. Add him to Spinwhiz. I've been reading comics off the site. Love his illustrations. Unique and really cool looking. See, you are getting the hype in our channel, man.
Man, you guys are making my day. You guys are going to make me cry. I'm just saying.
That's what we do.
I'm not going to cry.
So, Bako and everybody, make sure you read Beware the Toddler. Now, Bako, I will say that I know him, and he doesn't have a child to my knowledge, so it might not be as funny as the Reset Button to him. However, I think everybody, even if you don't have children, you're still going to dig it. You're still going to enjoy it. You're still going to think it's funny, and you can still say, oh, if I was in that position. And I think that's what makes it funny, is anybody can still put themselves in that position.
Well, that's the thing. You'd be surprised how many people actually tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell me, I don't have kids, but I can imagine this is what I'll be like, or this is what I'll imagine it'll be like when it's my kid. I had people tell me that, oh my goodness, like now I'm afraid to have kids, and then I'll think to myself, you should be. I don't say it. No, kids are fun. They're nice.
They are, but at the same time, you should be. You're right. I mean, it changes your life drastically, for sure.
Oh no, it is. It does.
Bako, he is not on. Do you have links on Amazon right now? Do you have content up on Amazon for sale?
I have the first 2 On the Grind books, but I would actually hold off on those because of the 3rd book that I'm working on.
Okay.
Which will actually include those 2 books.
Okay, so Bako, hang loose on that, and we'll try to get all the content for George to sell on Spinwhiz so that you don't have to go anywhere else. One-stop shop for Geo. And Bako says he is the guy that's scared of having kids.
Don't be. Trust me.
So anything else? I mean, again, it's been almost an hour. You guys have been fantastic. It's great to have when community comes in and asks questions. Does anybody from the community, before we hang up with Geo, does anybody have questions for George so he can answer them live? And obviously we'll put this into YouTube. If not, you definitely want to follow him for sure. He's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, and don't worry about trying to find it because I will tag him when this is when this goes up on YouTube and on the podcast. I'll make sure that I tag him and everything, and you'll see him probably share it. So you'll be able to pick it up through there. And when I post it, his tags will be right in there. You can follow him. He's fantastic. In the meantime, I honestly can't wait to play Modern Warfare with you. Let me know how I can help. I personally think that not only I haven't read too much of On the Grind yet, even though I knew it was around. I think that Reset Button or Beware the Toddler could instantaneously be an animated hit. To be perfectly honest with you, I think they're that good.
Thank you. That's actually the goal. That is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm working towards. But for the time being, I'm enjoying the comics and I'm enjoying making the comics. But eventually, I would like to see both of them animated, especially the reset button. I actually pitched that before, so I hope something comes of that at some point.
I hope so too. Bako coming in and says, "Where does George get his inspirations from with his drawings?" So I think we know where Beware the Toddler comes from.
Yep, Beware the Toddler's exaggerated versions of actual real life experiences. The reset button is my love of video games and my love of cartoons, pretty much. A lot of my art is video game related. So I think of video games that I like, and I think of video games that not a lot of people know about. So I try to do more obscure things, and I like the obvious Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, Luigi. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know how old a lot of you guys are, but I got like on my computer a drawing of an obscure video game character called Casey Munchkin. It was like a knockoff Pac-Man
Oh my gosh.
that I haven't even shared yet. I'm like working on. So I try to do obscure things, or at the same time I try to do things that I've never drawn before. So as a challenge to myself, or to see how something will look in my style, or to see how something will look in 2019 if it hasn't been around, for a while.
Mm-hmm. I think your style, and Bako, it was actually a perfect question. Don't worry about that. You didn't know that he had a 2-year-old daughter. You came in late, but that's okay. It doesn't matter you came in late. It just matters that you came in. That's what it matters. Support indie comics.
That's right.
He says, I like this guy, Sonic and Mario Luigi. Is he excited about Luigi's Mansion coming out on Friday for the Switch?
You know what? Surprisingly, I'm not.
Oh.
I mean, not because I don't want to play it, but because there's so much coming out. There's so much out.
Mm-hmm.
I love my Switch, but it's hard to follow up with Switch games. Like I'm excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Um, I'm excited for that. I've been waiting forever for Bayonetta 3.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I completely forgot that Luigi's Mansion was coming out next week because there is so much stuff that has come out and that is coming out. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah.
I've already got that pre-ordered.
Well, because of Keanu Reeves, right? I mean, who doesn't want a game with Keanu Reeves in it?
Oh man, I just love CD Projekt Red. Like,
yeah, they're awesome.
The Witcher. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's hours of your life gone. Playing The Witcher, just gone.
Yeah, and there's so much stuff I haven't even played yet. Like, I still need to pick up Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And granted, I'm poor. So I still need to pick up Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And I still need to pick up, what's that other game? Control. And it's way too much. Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot of gaming, buddy.
Yeah, it is. I still need to finish Resident Evil 2.
Oh, wow.
A remake. I'm going to try to do that this week since it's Halloween. But yeah.
Did you finish Borderlands 3?
No, I just got it last week.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason I was able to get it because I was able to find it on sale, and it was like $30-something bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I maybe have like 4 or 5 hours in it.
It's awesome.
It is. It's a lot of fun so far. I like it better than the other Borderlands games.
I did too. I liked it a lot better, and I'm right at the end. I think I have one mission left. I think.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm smack dab right at the end of it, and I haven't. I haven't gotten to that yet, just because Modern Warfare came out, and I've been playing Teamfight Tactics from Riot Games, because that's a free one. It's like battle chess, and I can't be twitchy like I used to play League of Legends and click that button like a million times a minute. It just doesn't work anymore. But this is much better. So, and Bako says, "Poor is a mindset, broken is circumstance." So, some really deep, fortune cookies type stuff he's got going on there.
I am broke. I am an artist and a father. So I am doubly broke.
Yeah. He say the Switch games are expensive, and they're $60.
If they're never gonna sell either.
No.
Like rarely.
Yeah, I ended up getting Rabbids for $20, I think, $25 at Christmas, and that was it. And I still haven't played it yet. It's still sitting up there. My son and I will play a little bit back and forth on the Switch, but he's been so into Minecraft and Lego Worlds building stuff that I hate to take that away from him.
Lego Worlds. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know all about the Lego Worlds as well. But no, try the Rabbids. It's Are you a fan of XCOM?
I am.
It's Mario XCOM.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
And it's actually a really well made game.
Yeah, it's a strategic turn-based strategy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all about. I can't wait to play it. It's been sitting. It's right over here actually, and I just haven't yet because my son and I haven't come and played down. I might actually give it to him for Christmas this year since I've had it for like a whole year, and I'm like, well, I might as well just wrap it and give it to him at that point. He doesn't. I mean, he's 7. He doesn't know that it's an old game, and he knows that he's going to get Luigi's Mansion because I'm a sucker for that game when we go to the arcade and play it.
Oh yeah.
So I guarantee we're going to get that one. But yeah, I get to live vicariously through my son, and I can't get blamed for buying games because they're for him.
That's my mindset. I was actually like mentally shopping in my head for games. Like I want to get like both Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
But give him one copy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep the other copy for myself because he's nowhere around. We got him a Switch Lite for Christmas.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm.
In addition to like my Switch, so he'll be able to play. And he loves Lego Worlds. He plays that on a PlayStation. But now I've been shopping for games for him, but also for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're allowed to do that now. That's what being a dad is for.
See, hey, that's the best part about being a dad.
Mm-hmm. And I'm lucky, and we're lucky. We have sons that like that. But I know my buddy has a daughter who destroys Minecraft, just like builds these amazing things, and then, she's just amazing at it. She's 8, and she sings while she plays it, and she's awesome too. She does a great job. This guy is cool. Sounds like a good papa. I agree. I think he is a good papa, hooking his kids up, knowing what's up, and his nerd level is definitely epic. So.
I am a massive nerd. This is true.
We kind of all are. I mean, you don't open up a comic book company saying, I don't know a thing about comics.
This is true.
Yeah. So, well, listen, we are definitely over an hour now, and I can honestly chat with you all night. So I think my hope is that we can have you back on the show, especially as we start getting into more of the stuff that you need promoted so we can talk about it, or new stuff that you have coming out. Let's get together and do some gaming on Modern Warfare. And at the very latest, I hope that I get a chance to see you when I go to C2E2 in end of February, right? February 28th?
Yes. I didn't get a table. I am waitlisted, but chances are I'll just walk among the crowds and whatnot.
Which is fine. I'll text you, let you know that I'm there. I got my first ever professional badge.
Yeah, I saw that. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
I told you were going to get it.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, they actually gave it to me. I mean, I am a professional. I mean, I own a website that is, not that big yet, but we're getting there. And I guess I can tell people this. You're going to be one of the first ones to know. We are actually designing our first mobile app right now.
Oh, nice.
So Spinwhiz Comics will have a mobile app, hopefully by February 2020.
Oh, right in time for C2E2.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Which means everybody will be able to download the app and see all this great content and just crush it. Bako says, I'm a Marine that's 100% gaming or nerd gaming comics, etc. Yes, yep. Bako, we're going to have it's an iOS and Android app. So we will be on the mobiles. You can see our site responsive now. Like all geo stuff will pop up easily and be responsive, but this is actually more of a native application so that you can see everything in its glory. And we have a couple little bells and whistles we're adding to the website at the same time. So we got some time, but we're getting there, man. We're getting there. So any final thoughts before we let you go and probably get back to another 2.5 hours of drawing?
No, just thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate it.
Anytime,
And
man. Anytime.
read Beware the Toddler. I am working on a book.
Okay.
I'm working on a Beware the Toddler book, and I'll happily talk about that whenever
Please do.
it's, whenever that time comes.
And let me know. We'll wrap it together for you, and we'll sell it on Spinwhiz.
Oh, awesome.
Nice and easy. That's the way we do. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Hang out with me just a second. I want to sign off with you, but I want to say goodbye off screen. Ladies and gentlemen, hang out just a little while longer. We're going to be playing a little Modern Warfare. Maybe even Gio will keep watching just to laugh a little bit while he sees me get shot in the face multiple times. And Bako says, thank you, George and Jeff, but more George.
Thank you as well.
And yes, so hang out. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. That's the end of the Spinwhiz Comics Show. Thank you all for being here. We will be right back.